If you have dated cabinets in your kitchen or bathroom, then listen up, because in this video, I'm going to show you how I made these old kitchen cabinets better than new for less than half the cost of replacing them. This is absolutely something even a beginner DIYer can do, so don't be intimidated. I'm gonna walk you through the steps. In 90% of cases, completely replacing cabinets just doesn't make sense. These are cabinets that I have in a break room at my manufacturing business. They have some minor damage and problems, but those things are easy to fix. The bigger problem is that they just look dated and dark and gloomy. My big plan is I'm going to paint the face frames and install new doors and hardware, and these are going to look brand new. I've done this in both my own kitchen and my parents' kitchen using products from a company called Front and Center, and the results are awesome. Let's go ahead and get into the details. Step one is very easy. I went through and removed all of the doors and drawer faces. Now, I'm going to go ahead and include soft close hinges on my new cabinet, so I went ahead and disposed of the hinges as well. But if you have good hinge hardware, then you could remove the hinges and save those. Since I'm not doing anything with the doors, I threw these away. To remove the drawer faces, you just open up the drawer and look for the screws. They're typically held in place by 2 or 3 screws. As you can see, I left everything inside my cabinet. There's no need to remove anything. Another thing to do in the demo stage is to remove all of the molding. I just have a little bit of shoe molding in a few different places, and so a tiny flat bar pries this off quickly. Now I'm going to go through and clean my cabinets, because the next thing I need to do is prepare the cabinets to receive a coat of primer. And I don't want anything to not let the paint adhere to it well. So next I'm going to go through and lightly scuff up the paint.
So I have some 80 grit sandpaper here, just a scrap piece, and then you can grab a block of wood or you can buy one of those sponges. I'm gonna wrap mine around this and just give everything a scrub.
Now don't think that you have to go down to bare wood here. If you wanted to stain it, then you would have to, but since I'm going with a coat of paint, then all I'm trying to do is rough up the surface to give the coat of primer a gritty surface to adhere to. As you can see, this does create a lot of dust, so I gave the cabinets another wipe down with those cleaning wipes, just to remove any of that dust I generated. Is to start painting, well, to prime. I don't recommend skipping the coat of primer. However, a tip for priming is to get it tinted the color that you're going to be painting it. This is a free service that the paint store will do, but it will prevent the white of the primer showing through the final coat of painting. I went through and started with painting the face frames just with a little 4-inch roller. After the primer dried, then I came back with 2 coats of paint, doing the same exact process, hitting everywhere I just hit with primer. And I know that they look identical because I got that primer tinted, but the paint does come out slightly different. As you can see, this project goes so quickly. The most time-consuming thing of this entire process is waiting for paint to dry. So if this is something you've been considering, then I definitely recommend tackling it, especially if you want to break it up over a few days. But to give you an idea on timeline, I was able to complete this small job in 2 half days. What's great is this is actually the 3rd kitchen that I've completely redone. And granted, this one's much smaller. But the reason I tackled these so willingly is because I found a company called Front and Center that makes the doors for you and sends them already pre-made, pre-finished, drilled with the mortises for the hinges, to where all you have to do is pop in your hardware and then throw them on your cabinet bodies. Could I make the doors? Absolutely. But whenever I run the cost analysis between my time and materials on making them and then finishing them and drilling out for the hinges versus just ordering them through Front and Center, them showing up at my door ready to throw on, it is absolutely worth it to have Front and Center do it. The process is super simple. A few weeks before I wanted to tackle this project, I took measurements of my existing cabinets. I submitted those to Front and Center. I picked my color, I picked my style, and then boom. A few weeks later, all of my doors show up ready to be installed. I went with these nice flat panel because I think it's a very modern, updated look. However, in my personal kitchen, I went with the shaker and absolutely love those as well. So know that they do come in different styles. Front and Center has given me a 20% off code to provide to you guys. So if you want to tackle redoing any cabinets in your house, then absolutely give these a try. I personally always start off by doing the cabinet doors first, and I always start with the lowers.
Whenever I'm installing cabinet doors, instead of holding it up and trying to figure out this dimension up and down while getting a screw and running it in, I like to cut a spacer in order to set the hinges on. And then I start with installing all of my lowers first. And then I'll use this as a gauge in order to get all of my drawer fronts. I'll put my spacer in place, put my lower hinge right on it, and then run the screw.
After installing the doors, I move up to repeat on the uppers. However, here I have some molding I need to reinstall. This is painted the exact same color that I painted my cabinets. And the reason I install it first is because since the molding goes along the top, that's gonna affect the spacing of my doors. So I throw that in with a brad nailer. Then I figure out the height that I need the door and cut a new scrap of wood in order to install these. If you don't have any molding, then you should be able to use the same spacer on your lowers as the uppers. Front and Center does include a label full of information on the inside of each door, so if you don't know where one goes, you can tell. However, it's also very easy to tell from the size. After I go through and do all of the doors, now I go and do the drawer faces. And this is why I install the doors first, because then I'm able to cut new spacers. These are just some scrap 1/4-inch pieces to then set the drawer faces on. Now you do have to make sure that all of the doors are adjusted the way that you want them before putting on your drawer faces. All of these hinges have about 3 different adjustments to them. But then once they're in place, I can attach them. And here's a tip for doing this. If you go ahead and drill the through holes to attach the hardware, then you can use those holes to hold it in place so that you can go to the inside to attach it. So here I am drilling the holes through the face of my drawer face. I'd set the drawer in place. I get some long screws and then run them into these holes. This will attach the drawer face enough to the body so that then I can open up the drawer, go to the inside, and attach it permanently with some cabinet screws. Yes, any screws can work, but the cabinet screws are nice because they have a nice fat head on them. Now you can remove the long screws and attach your hardware of choice. After doing all of the drawer faces, I also attach the hardware for the cabinet doors. You can buy a jig for this, but also, guys, you can make one very quick and simple with just some scraps laying around your shop. You just got to make sure that it is firmly on the top and the side before drilling your holes.
Nice.
And that is it. My new cabinets are done. Well, they're not really new, but they sure do look like it. And truthfully, in every way, they are better than the old ones. The new doors are going to be way more durable than the originals. I upgraded to the soft close hinges and even the more modern looking pulls and of course color. I did all of this for roughly $1,500. Now, had I gone with new cabinets, the cost would have been about 2 or 3 times that much. And that's assuming I chose cheap stock cabinets. Thank you so much to Front and Center for making this project so quick and simple. And don't forget they gave me a discount code if you're wanting to tackle anything cabinet related of your own. I'm going to leave links to Front and Center and also my other cabinet videos below.